Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a good day. And to make that day even better, why not fold this origami sun? So, this is a very simple model which is folded from a square sheet of paper. This is how it looks like from the front, and this is how it looks like from behind. So, with that out of the way, let's start folding. So, all I have here is a nice square sheet of paper that has side dimensions of 20 centimeters. So this is a 20 centimeter square that is colored on one side and white on the other. So if we want to fold an origami sun with a nice yellow corona and a white face, we shall start with either side of the paper actually, because what we're going to do is start by making a grid, an 8 by 8 grid. So let's fold the paper in half first, horizontally and vertically. So this grid is actually really important for making our overall structure for the sun. So I recommend or I advise to also reverse all of the creases that we make for the grid. So essentially we have bidirectional folds, so they can fold both or in either direction. So we're just going to reverse the creases that we've made in our grid. Like so. So now we have a 2 by 2 grid. Now let's make that a 4 by 4. So I'm just going to align my crease, this edge to the fold in the middle, and then unfold. And then we repeat. Align, and then fold. All right, 2 more. And then okay, now let's reverse those folds. We're almost there. And then last. All right, we have a 4 by 4 grid. So if we're going to divide this, we're going to get our target 8 by 8 grid. So a tip that I have for grids larger than 4 by 4 is to simply just align the creases together. Like so. Press and then align the lower edge to that crease line. I find it easier to just put adjacent folds together rather than doing something a bit more sophisticated, like align the edge to exactly half so that the crease, a new crease is made, because it will get there's a loss of precision when that happens. So I find it a bit more precise if you just align adjacent creases together. So we're just going to repeat this with the rest. That and rest. So, and crease so if you like this, doing work advice to do it this way, we just like press creases at a time. Advice for you to line up creases just one at a time, not fold everything into a fan like this. It can work for a few layers, but as you get larger and larger grids, I recommend just doing one at a time. So for this last set of creases for our let's do that. So we can be nice and nice, so just do one layer at a time. You can do that. Because if you have a larger grid, doing this like just aligning and folding without ever sharpening your creases, you'll get a thick really quick. The layers take over time really fast, and you end up with a slightly messy result when you try to flatten everything together. So now that that's done, let's reverse our paper and reverse our new creases. Okay. Okay. One more. And we are done with our creases that are parallel to the edges of our square. So we're almost done with our grid. All we have to do is make some diagonal creases. So I'm just going to rotate my square a bit and fold from corner to corner. Looks like my square isn't as precise as I imagined it to be, and that's okay. We can strive for better shapes, but the design is a bit forgiving with the precision of the paper, so that's okay. All right. Make our central creases, central diagonal creases, just like that. We're just going to reverse this. You can do it on the air, or on the surface. All right, so now that that's done, we fold this corner to the center point, or for a more precise measurement, not really measurement or location, we fold from this corner to this corner. All right. Good. And then we repeat, align the points, create a nice piece unfold. And one last. All right. Now we reverse these folds. We are almost done with our grid. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do is to align these folds, these parallel folds, to each other. But also make sure that these corners from the fold and the edge are also connected by the crease that we are making. So this is where folding just layer by layer works best, because the size of these folds of these new folds are not the same. So we gotta be a bit more careful when we align and when we press everything together. And then we repeat. Okay, now that that's done, let's just reverse the creases we've just made. Like so. And more. And so, the resulting figure that we've made is the 8x8 multiform grid. So it's not just it not just has horizontal and vertical grid lines, it also has diagonal grid lines, and all of these are bidirectional as a result of our folding. So it's going to be a bit easy when we fold everything together. So now that that's done, let's start actually working on the sun. So we're going to begin with the colored side up so that we can have a colored corona, okay? Very nice. So what we're going to do is that we're going to fold from 1, 2 grid lines above. So we're just going to follow this fold that we made. So again, 1, 2 grid lines. And what we're going to do is we're going to align this edge to this diagonal crease over here to create a fold that looks like this. Amazing. Like it looks like that. Just try to ensure that the corner is really folded there, like the corner of the paper. And then we're going to repeat this on the other side. So we can just align this edge to the fold, the diagonal crease over here. Amazing. And then crease firmly. And then unfold. Unfold everything. And then we're going to repeat this with the other 3 sides. So we're just going to rotate our paper, fold in 1, 2 grid lines, and fold this edge, align it to the diagonal crease. Just like that. And then repeat on the opposite side. Just like that. And then unfold everything. Right, that's one. Okay. So because of that step, our paper ought to look like this. Now, we're going to do a similar procedure. So what we're going to do is that we're going to count from the top this time 2 grid lines. So 1, 2, and we're going to fold this diagonal. And we're going to repeat this also on the other side. So count 2 grid lines, 2 grid boxes, 1, 2, and then unfold. Fold this diagonal crease. And then we're going to fold these simultaneously like this. So this is just a result of the grid lines we've made. There are no new creases that are made from this procedure. So it's going to look like that. And then from that, we unfold everything. And then we repeat on the other 3 sides. I'm sorry. So we're going to fold again, and then fold them simultaneously. What it means is that we're preparing the paper for a nice collapse, a nice radial collapse. We're going to fold the diagonal into the 2 grid boxes are captured, or the 2 grid boxes 1, 2, and fold these 2 diagonals simultaneously, like so. And then last, take the paper is really nicely creased, it will fall into place. So now that we've done that step, that nice step involving the diagonals, we're just going to do that, but for all 3 sides simultaneously. So what I like to do is to just prop up the shape. So over here we're getting this nice cross shape, and then as a result everything should collapse relatively easily. You can also do this on the opposite side of the paper. So this is how it looks like. Essentially, it should collapse symmetrically and with a radial symmetry. So over here, we just flatten everything together. So notice how each of these 4 sides collapses like that. Also over here. This is how our collapsed base ought to look like. So just to unfold, I'm just going to repeat this really quickly. So this is how our paper looks like from all of our pre-creases, and then it's going to collapse just like that. So we have a nice figure that opens on all 4 sides, just like that. And it also looks like this on the opposite side. So I'm just going to zoom in for a while. Now that we've turned our paper over, or now that we've zoomed in, we are going to just fold like this, and then using a grid line again, we're going to push this downwards. And then we're going to follow again these grid lines and then fold. I'm going to repeat this process, put it down, and then push the sides out. At the opposite side of the paper, of the model, it is going to look just like that. We're going to get this nice plus shape. So push this down and fold. Rotate, push down. Alright, so turn the paper over, and this is how our design looks like so far. So let's start making the corona of the sun. So we're going to focus on one corner of our model, and we're just going to unfold partially. Don't unfold everything, just gently pull the layers over, and you see these new diagonal creases. We're just going to follow them. This one's a mountain fold. Let's make that into a valley, just like its partner over here. There, it's a valley, and then it looks like that. We're just going to repeat this on the other side. All right, so now that that's done, we can refold everything. So just press it gently. The layers will align, and from that we get this. Very nice. This is how it looks like at the opposite side. So let's repeat this process with all three. Just partially everything up and turn these into all plugins. Make all these plugins like that. Let's writing this as a result. Or right here, sorry. Okay, so just follow these pieces. Follow the pieces from our base earlier and fold gently. It will collapse into place. Alright, let's continue. You can also do this on the opposite side, so if you want. You just need to do a set color and later. Regardless, we're supposed to achieve something that is similar to this. Okay, a few more, actually, one more. And begin. Okay, there. Where's the presetting meeting? This is how our steps so far resulted us in these nice figures. Notice how the sun is almost coming together. Amazing. So this is where our model starts differentiating. So we have all of this. We're just going to fold this inward and then unfold. This is where we start forming the face. Just fold each of these corners in and unfold. Right, nice, lovely. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to get one corner, and then we're going to bring this tip over here onto the intersection of these two creases. So essentially, it's just going to look like that. And we're going to crease really firmly. Like get all of those layers, press it really nice and flat. And then we're going to do this step onto the opposite side, not on these two sides. This will be the top and bottom of our sun. So we're just going to repeat it here. Just like that. Now for ease of orientation, I will just label this as B for the bottom, and then over here, T for the top. So we now have a top and bottom for the sun, the top and bottom orientations for the sun, for our sun. So we're just going to unfold that a bit. Don't worry, this will be obscured in the final model, like this will be covered up. So what we're going to do now is that we're just going to open again our model partially, and now we're going to sync all of these four corners. So we're just going to gently open this. These are all grid lines again, so see that square? We're just going to push that inwards. Don't yet mind the creases we've made. We're going to get back to those soon enough. So there. We made one open sync. And now we have three more to go. Rotate. And then sync. Yes. Now we're here at the bottom, so just hold it gently. And if you are, I'm doing this a bit slow. If you are still, you can also do it simultaneously. Fold both these at the same time. Like, you don't sync these at the same time. Let's try to do that. Right, okay, one time. There. Right. Okay, so now that we've sunk all of our corners, our model ought to look like this. So it's good to just start flattening it, just like so. Amazing. So this is our model. It has its top, it has bottom. What we're going to do now is that we're going to start again pre-creasing the corona of the sun. So to do that, we're just going to push these layers and open the sync that we've just made. Now we're starting to make the corona because it will become difficult to shape the corona once we get our face. This face is three-dimensional, so the face might get compromised when we fold each part of the corona. So going back to the corona, what we're going to do now is that we're going to align this folded edge here onto this central line. So it's just going to look like this. And then we repeat on the other side. Excellent. Notice how our label got obscured. That's nice. So you can align, try to make sure that these are aligned as much as possible. Okay, now what we're going to do is that we're going to refold everything. Refold our sink. So it's just going to look like that. Okay? And from there, we're going to unfold everything. I know it hurts, but yeah, this will do. This model does have a lot of unfolding and refolding everything. So again, repeat, align, fold the central fold that you have. Then refold, and then unfold. Okay, and repeat. Unfold, like the same. Fold, and then fold. And the last one, align, and then make these folds just there. So we're doing this. This recollapse because we're getting these reduced. Okay, and then we unfold. Okay, so this is how our sun looks like so far. Very nice. So what is next? What we're going to do now is that we're going to start forming the face a bit. So for the bottom side, we're going to use these two squares, these two flaps that we have. And what we're going to do is that we're just going to fold from from midpoint to midpoint. So it's just going to look like this. This is also the same as simply bringing these corner to the center. Now we're just going to rotate, turn it upside down, and for the top, it's a similar process, but what we're going to do is that we're going to start over here at the midpoint, and we're just going to fold a bit. We're not going to connect this midpoint to the midpoint. We're going to leave a small gap. So it's just going to look like this. Okay? The fold is at the midpoint, at the bottom, but over here at the side, it just reaches a bit downwards. We're going to repeat that over here. Try to make sure that your folds are symmetrical so that we have a relatively symmetric looking face for our sun. So this is how it looks like. Very nice. I'm going to rotate everything, and this is how our model ought to look like. All right, so this is how our model looks like right now. We're now going to make the final folds for making the corona. So this is, again, the corona. So we've made these 4 ones over here, these 4 corners. Now we're going to make the other 4, and these are the other 4 flares, solar flares, parts of the corona that we will be making. So you can skip this step and end up with a sun that looks like this. This is a more stylish sun. This is also nonetheless beautiful, but for this tutorial, we will be learning how to make one that has a uniform shape, appearance for all of its flares. So how do we do this? Let's find out. So notice these creases. Let me just emphasize them. Notice these creases over here that we've just made. They make an intersection over here. So what we're going to do is that we're going to bring this corner up onto that crease intersection. Just like that. And then we're going to repeat it with the other 4 corners. So we're going to bring this corner, crease intersection, and fold before me again. Rotate, line, fold, rotate, line, and fold. I'm going to rotate or flip our paper over, and then we're going to fold each of these as far as they can go. Just far as it can go, and unfold. Fold as far as it can go, and unfold. Fold as far as it can go, and unfold. Fold as far as it can go, and unfold. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to make a crease from these corners. You see that corner? up to the midpoint that we've just made. So it's just going to look like this. Repeat on all corners. So on the other end, it's going to look like this. Okay? It's going to look like that. So we're going to repeat this side. Make sure to crease really firmly, okay? And then repeat. Okay, we are almost done with making the creases for the corona of our sun. What we're going to do now is that we're going to unfold everything back to the original shape. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a complex rabbit's ear fold. So we're just going to turn it over so it looks like this, and then we're going to open it. Just open everything. Not really open everything, just open it partially. And then we're going to push what we have here. Just push it outwards. Make this a mountain fold. Notice these new creases that we've made here from our fold? That stays. So just follow these folds. And on over here, by doing that and by having this central diagonal crease, we just push everything. Just push it gently so that these new mountain folds form. See, at the opposite side, what happens is that these two still remain aligned. These two edges of the paper remain aligned. And now we have this rabbit's ear fold. It's a bit of a complex rabbit's ear, but it's nonetheless doable. I believe in you. All right. So just swing it on both ways. And what we're going to do is that from this obtuse corner, we're going to pivot our fold. Like we're just going to align this edge to this other edge. So it's going to look like this. Okay, I'm going to place it next to the camera. See how we align this edge to this folded edge. It's going to look like that. And now we're keeping the other side, so other four corners. We open this partially, and then push, and turn this into a mountain fold. Just pinch it, and then using our new folds, using these newly made folds, we just push all three of these mountain folds until the mountain folds form. So it's sort of like a spread squash. It needs a rabbit's ear fold. There, double check. There, these pieces are aligned, and fold and swing in the opposite direction. Like do it twice, and then align these two edges together, using this pivot. Double check, it's aligned, and increase turning. And we repeat. We gotta do some just a bit fast here. Open, fold it partially, and then pinch. Double check, mountain fold, and then the other side, and the other side. Okay. That's the part. Okay. Yeah, like this. Okay, that's one. Take everything. Push. And move the other side. Let's take one fold. Okay. Okay, so all of our pre-creases for the corona of the sun have been made. Now that that's done, we can work back to making and finishing that face. So let's start at the bottom half of the face. The bottom half is for making the lips of the sun. So what we're going to do is that we're going to unfold what we've made here. And what we're going to do now is that we're going to bring this corner onto the intersection of the creases that we've made. So it's just going to look like this. Amazing. Just going to repeat this on the other side. All right, so what we're going to do now is that we're going to do a spread squash. So we're going to grab some layers of the paper here. We can unfold these as well. I'm going to grab these layers and then squash this as shown. So my paper is a bit trapped, so let me just guide it a bit. Okay, so it's going to look just like this. Just like that, okay? We're going to repeat it here. So Spread squash. Squashing the spread. Spreading the squash. Okay, that's not as satisfying as I imagined it to be. The spread squash. Let me just guide the folds. Okay. There. We have that figure made. We've just made these spread squash. What we're going to do now is that we're just going to fold them back. Just like that. No new crease. Just fold along this diagonal. Amazing. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to make a crease just there from here to here. Grab all the layers as you can. Okay? But before that, what we need to do is open. Just open it a bit. And then we remember these creases we've made earlier? What we're going to do is that we're just going to push them out. So it's going to look like this. It's a bit challenging. Okay. Okay, so we have our sink done. We have these folds made. So what's going to happen is that our paper looks like this. We're going to fold along these vertical lines like this. And then we push everything out. So this might take a while. This is a rectangle we're forming. Okay, there. Just push as much as you can. There. Okay. This is how it ought to look like. So we're just going to push this back again. Nice. So this, we're almost done with our lips. What we're going to do now is that we're going to push these corners inward. Push the paper inward. So you see these diagonals? We're going to continue that on with that. So essentially we're making this small water bomb over here. And then we repeat on the other side of the lips. We're just gonna push it a bit, just like that. Make sure that the creases are aligned and follow the diagonals. Okay. Now that that's done, we're going to do a rather complex open sink. But before we do that, I'll just help guide you. So now that I've unfolded that, notice how we have this squashed hexagon shape over here. I'm just going to outline this with my red marker. And I'm using this red marker because all these creases here are going to be mountain folds when we do our open sink. So it's going to look like this. So we just open this partially, like I'm just pulling these two opposite flaps behind. And then using one of my fingers, one or two of my fingers, I'm going to push everything. I'm just going to push some of the layers open. Okay. Okay, so what's going to happen? We're going to follow the shape, follow this nice shape, this nice hexagonal, squashed hexagon shape. So over here at the top, notice the squashes we've made. We're going to push the ones at the top, the topmost parts, inward, just like that. We're going to push that, and what happens is that we're going to have this mountain fold. And this is also going to happen over here. So just trace that mountain fold. These are all creases we've made earlier. We are not making any new crease. So at the top, it looks like this, nice and clean. And over here at the lower half of that red hexagon, see these creases by the edge? We're going to make these into mountain folds as well. Okay, these two are mountain folds. And now we're ready to flatten everything again. So just push this hexagon into place. This is a bit tricky, so try to be patient with this entire maneuver. So we just push over here. What's happening is essentially a complex open sink. And then from there, we press everything back into place. So at the bottom, we're just following the creases we've just made. So it's going to push just like that. At the top, we can start folding. Fold also those parts. So right now it's not compliant. Just push it inwards. Okay. It might do that. That's okay. This is how it looks like on either side. There. So just be patient. It will fold neatly. Rearrange the layers. Oh, what happened here? There. All right. So if you did that, if you did that sink correctly, you will end up with this kind of paper with two flaps freely moving. So these are the lips of our sun. These will form the lips of our sun. So now that that's done, we're now going to work on the top of the sun. Let's make the eyes and the nose. So what we're going to do first is that we're going to open this a bit, open the top a bit, and we're going to bring this corner upward. So we're just going to follow the creases we made earlier. Okay. There, we just did an open sink. Nice. what we're going to do is that we're just going to rotate it. Now, having that open sink in mind, we're just going to get one layer of our paper and push it like that. And just push it outward as far as it can. And using our creases that we've made, we're just going to help squash our paper rather symmetrically. Just like that. So notice how inwards the paper looks like that. Notice the arrangement of the layers of our paper. Okay, so I'm going to rotate our paper again, and I'm going to unfold everything. What we're going to do now is that we're going to squash this part symmetrically. So this is composed of two layers of paper. We're going to push one. Oh, sorry. This is composed of two layers of paper. We're going to push this uppermost layer outward. So to do this, we open again. So pull two ends together, two opposite ends together, the side of our star. And then with a finger, we just push this layer of paper. So these are valley folds. We're going to turn this into a mountain fold. So see that? We just made that crease. We push this inward. So press, see that? Nice. We're just going to trace our new creases that we've made as mountain folds. And then from that, we fold. Okay. Nice. Just gonna press everything. Mind the lips. Okay. We are almost done with the eyes and nose. Let's start making that nose. So as a result of our previous step, we have this nice layer of paper. We're just going to rotate this by 90 degrees. And what we're going to do is that we're going to get this edge over here. And then we're going to fold it, just overlapping this folded edge. So don't align it. Don't align these edges together. Like there's this folded and then there's this edge. Don't align them. Just go a bit over. So it's going to look like this. These overlap a bit. And then we're going to make a nice sharp crease, but only until this center line. Don't go beyond that. So our fold looks like this. Notice how it goes a bit over this other edge. And then we're going to repeat that. So from this corner over here, we're going to fold. I'm going to make this nice fold and connect the other edge. We're going to connect the folds essentially over here by the middle line. So ensure that these folds are really sharp, okay? All right, so that's the result of our current step. What we're going to do now is we're going to unfold. We're going to partially unfold. So these over here, when I put this edge up, we have these mountain folds already made. So I'm just gonna outline this with my pen. We have these mountain folds. We have these two mountain folds, and then we have these as well. So I'm just gonna open this a bit, almost as if I'm undoing everything into step one. Actually, let's undo that for ease. So we unsquash our fold. And from there, we're going to follow the creases we've just made. We're going to make them all mountain folds. So how does that plan out? We're going to push again, just open partially, and then push our paper, and then follow these creases. We're going to make these mountain folds, the valley folds we made earlier into mountain folds. Just so we're clear here, red means mountain fold, okay? All right, now that we've made these into mountain folds, we push the paper almost like how we did earlier. All right, and then from there, we have our mountain fold. We just try to pinch everything symmetrically, okay? Just like that. And just like that, our eyes are made. So for the nose, don't press everything together just yet. What we're going to do is that we're just going to push this gently, like give it a gentle push. We're going to make these taper. So a nice guide for me to do that is just follow these grid lines we've made earlier. Like the base of the nose, those two creases mark the base of the nose, okay? And from there, we can just pinch the nose into a 3D shape. And then we can fold this partially. Just try to bend so that we get some definition on the sides of the nose. And from there, our nose and eyes are done. These are all ready for shaping. So what are we going to do now? We're just going to finally finalize the corona of our sun. So let's do that now. So going back to these 4 side corners, diagonal solar flames, we're just going to open this partially so that we reveal our layers. And what we're going to do is that this is a valley fold currently. We're now going to make this into a mountain fold. So just push this partially, like that. Make this a mountain fold, and then follow all of the creases we've made before, just like that. And from there, you can close it. So it's going to look like that on the opposite side. I'm just gonna repeat that for the other 4. So rotate, rotate, hold everything. Hold in the corner, and then from there, you can still mountain fold, and then collapse like as original. So over there, and then fold. Rotate, hold it partially, make this into a mountain fold. And then fold again. Okay, one last. Open, and then fold. Okay. All right. We have made our corona. We're just going to fold what we've made earlier. So just open it a bit, and then fold using existing creases. See how easier this was, knowing that we've made these folds already? Amazing. If you did do these folds, you would have a rather difficult time making these folds for the corona nice and precise, and maybe compromise the overall face over here. Just fold using our existing creases, okay? And last. Alright, we are almost done. Are you ready to shape the face and make those nice face details? I hope you are. We just have to do the lips and the eyes. The nose is already shaped. Looking from this, I like the expression, but let's try to shape this a bit more organically. So for the lips, let's start with the lips. Let me just zoom in a bit. All right, let's work on the lips. So for the lips, we have 2 layers of paper, just like this. We're going to bring this upward And what we're going to do is that we're going to make these folds just from the corner to the midpoint. Just like that. Fold from the corner to the midpoint. Just like that. And then we repeat. Okay. And then from there, we bring this corner. Oh, sorry. And then from there, we bring this corner in the middle just a bit down. We bring this down a bit. It's going to look like that. And when we fold this downward, you make the lower lip. So the lower lip is done. Now for the upper lip, it has a similar process. What we're going to do then is that we're going to fold this downward just a bit. Don't go all the way. And then we're going to repeat that process. Try to ensure that it's a bit symmetric, okay? That both ends are symmetric. So we have that. And then we are going to connect the folds just like that. We're going to push or connect. What we're going to do is try to push the central part together with a couple of folds. So essentially we're just bringing it down, but it's a bit more 3D than that. See, we're just gonna shape the lips until we make that nice crest at the middle. There, this is good enough. If you have a folding tool, that will be really nice as well for shaping these lips. You just push it. Alright, so this is how the lips ought to look like. Now we just have to do the eyes. So the eyes are really simple. Notice how we're just going to get one layer. So notice how the eyes are composed of 2 layers of paper. Like you can open it like that. We're just going to do a nice shallow valley fold at the top. Just gonna push it upward. Just like that. And what's going to happen is that over here by the corner, now we're going to make another valley fold just from where this fold, at the end of this fold from here, this corner, onto this one, this corner just below. So the corner that's made here by the center line of our sun. So it's going to look like this. This is why we gave a bit of allowance by the end, at the end, so that we can have this nice tapered look onto the eye without making the sun fully 3D. So because of that, our sun's eye looks like that. If we did not taper or give some allowance, the sun will look a bit more 3D and it will not necessarily ruin, but it will make the arrangement of the corona a bit more distorted, and we don't want that. So we're going to repeat that process on the other eye. So we're just going to open this a little. So it's made of 2 layers, and then we push. And push the upper layer just a bit to taste, like that. And then we push on the other side, making sure that our new fold also reaches this center line over here. And then we continue pushing. If you have a folding tool, that's a lovely time to bring it out. Just fold the eye. Okay, it looks like my eyes are a bit symmetric, relatively symmetric, and there you go, actually. We are done with our origami sun. So this is how it looks like at the end of the day. This is how it looks. And there you have it. This is how you make an origami sun. I hope you had a wonderful day folding this, and I hope all the days forward are nonetheless good for you. So thank you very much and have a wonderful day.